We've all been following the Facebook data scandal over the last few weeks, but what I've noticed is there hasn't been much practical and helpful information for us Facebook users. So what can we do to safeguard our information and regain our confidence in using Facebook? Well, in this walkthrough guide, I'm going to take you through exactly how you can take control of what other people can access from your account. My name's Joan Kerrick-Robertson. I'm the former head of social media for BBC Television and have worked in social media for over 15 years. I now run my own company helping people with their digital and social media needs. I deliver loads of training and I'm invited to speak about social media regularly. Here's me doing some of those things that you can see on the screen, including speaking at the EU, where I'm looking very serious. Before starting on the practical stuff, it's worth saying that Facebook is a data marketing company and it's marketing your data. This is something I think that people are becoming more and more aware of, and it's something I say all the time when I'm training people in social media. It's not necessarily a criticism, it's just a fact that that's how Facebook earn their money. People using Facebook for their own unprofitable communication are not its customers. We are creating data for it to sell. Your data is being created by the things and the people you like on Facebook, as well as your activity, and it's being sold by Facebook to people advertising there. And it's also being accessed by apps, that's applications and websites out of Facebook, which connect to your account when you allow them to. I reckon it takes about an hour or so to go through all of the settings and old content on most people's Facebook pages. It's best to do it on a desktop, although some of these tools are available via the mobile app, they're certainly not all there. So before starting off, it's worth saying that since the Cambridge Analytica news broke in March this year, Facebook have actually closed off the privacy aspect that was most troubling, and that's the ability for apps that other people are using to see your data. And this is definitely a good thing. Anyway, let's get started. I think it feels most straightforward to ignore Facebook's own privacy checkup. So just head straight to your settings to take control of everything to do with your account. And you do that in this blue bar at the top, the blue navigation bar. Right on the right hand side, there's a downward arrow. If you click that, you can go right down to your settings. We're going to start at the top and just work down the list of available settings. You might whiz through the first couple of tabs and a few of the others, which is good because there are quite a lot of them, as you can see. You'll land on the General Setting tab, where you can see your contact information. This is information that Facebook needs in order to connect your account to you, and it won't let you delete it, although you can update it or change it if you want to. So your general information, your name, your profile picture, your cover photo, your gender, your networks, your username and your user ID are always publicly available to both people and apps in Facebook. Anyway, this general account settings page is all pretty straightforward, although some people may wonder what a legacy contact is that you can see here. So manage your account, modify your legacy contact. And that's actually where you can give someone access to your account for after you pass away. Now, if you move down to the second tab, the security section over here, this is where you can change your password and where you can set up two-factor authorization, where you use a code and a password to log in. You can request your emails to be encrypted. You have to do a little bit of stuff to achieve that. It's all worth looking through so you know what additional security is available to you. There you can see down to the bottom there. I'm not going to go through it in detail now for you. I'm going to move on to the privacy tab. So on this third tab down, the privacy tab, this is where for most people we might start taking a little bit longer. So start at the top and tell Facebook who you want to see all your future posts. So I've got mine set to friends, but you can be more detailed than that, creating specific groups of friends or excluding people from your whole friends list if you want to. You can also share everything publicly if you want to. Anyway, make your changes. Mine's set to friends. I'm going to keep it that way. And you just have to close to save those settings. Now this next one for me was a big cleanup mission, to be honest. It's looking at posts and things you've been tagged in by other people. So here, review all of your posts and things that you're tagged in. And to do it, you click Use Activity Log. That takes you through to this other page. There, I'll quickly go down to save my friend's anonymity. Now, I've kept an eye on this before, but I've recently checked it and realised I hadn't made sure I was being alerted to posts tagging me, and they'd all just gone onto my timeline. And the thing with content where you've been tagged is it wasn't very easy for me to tell who could actually see it. So previously I actually went through it all piece by piece, but actually on your privacy tab now, you can simply limit the audience of all old posts if you want to, which takes a lot of time out of this particular task. So if you're happy to do that, I'll show you that in a second. But while you're here, do make sure that you turn on notifications for posts that you've been tagged in, and you can do it up here. So get notifications when you're tagged by anyone, and also here, this little asterisk, make sure that you're reviewing everything that you're tagged in, so have that enabled there. And then you can go back to your settings, to the privacy page. Where were we? Here. So we've done this first one and we've done this second one, and what I just mentioned, limiting the audience for posts you've shared with friends of friends or public. So a bit of a mouthful, that one, but what that means is that all of those posts in the past, you may just want to blanket make them available only to your friends if you want to. I'm not going to do that, but that is actually a very quick way to deal with possibly loads and loads, years and years of content. So what you can do there is you can make all of those old posts just visible to your friends if you want to. So we've done those things at the top there, and actually you'll find these ones at the bottom, how people find and contact you. Doesn't take too long to go through. So who can send you friend requests, who can see your friends list, etc. It's all fairly straightforward. So I'm going to move on to the timeline and tagging page, and this overlaps with what we've just done in regards to tagging, but it takes it to the next level so that you can see exactly who can see the content that other people have tagged you in. So going from the top, they're fairly straightforward to start with on your timeline and tagging tab. So who can post on your timeline? Well, I've let friends post on my timeline, but who can see what others post on your timeline? Well, I want to be the only person to see those, to be honest, and so I've set it to only me. You can choose whatever you want for any of these, everyone, friends of friends, friends except certain people, or you can make your own groups in custom, for example. Who can see posts you're tagged in on your timeline? As you can see, I've gone all mean, only me. You can change that to whatever you want. This one's a little bit obscure. When you're tagged in a post, who do you want to add to the audience of the post if they can't already see it? So a bit of a mouthful. And what I think, after some consideration, what I think that means is, even if you have only me set up there, you could, for example, think, oh, I want my mum or my husband or whoever to see those posts as well. So you can kind of create exceptions if you want to. Review posts you're tagged in before the post appears on your timeline. Well, that's what we just did actually in the privacy tab, and you'll recognize that from there. Absolutely have that turned on, as I didn't have previously. Now, near the bottom, you'll see review what other people see on your timeline and the view as link next to it. And this is a super useful thing to check out. Here we go, I'll click it for you. When you've clicked it, you should get a black bar at the top of the screen. You can see it up here underneath the blue navigation bar. And in it, you can select public or specific person, just here. So I've got it set to public because what this is showing me is what the general public can see when they land on my Facebook page. So on Facebook, your general information, your name, your profile picture, your cover photo, your gender, your networks, your username and your user ID, as I said before, are always publicly available to both people and apps. But other things you can hide from public view or even specific friends or groups of friends. So I personally find it most useful to see what the public can see, because I'm actually happy with all of my Facebook friends seeing all of my posts, to be honest. So if you click public here, that's what you'll see. So you can start with your timeline, which is going to be your default. And for me, I've only made 2 posts public in my whole Facebook history, and they're right here for everyone to see. There's one, and there's the, oh, well, I guess including those other things, my banner and whatnot. And there's another one scrolling up there. And if you find something that you're not happy with being public, what you can do is you can go into it and you can change that setting if you want to. So when something is public to the whole world, it's got this little globe on it, and you can change that if you want to. I'm going to leave that one public actually. And here's a different piece of content which I've posted just to my friends so that you can see it. If something is shared with friends, you'll see an icon at the top which is of 2 little heads like this. And where something is being shown publicly that you don't want, you can go in and you can change the settings so only your friends can see it, or I could make this totally public, or again could be more specific. So going back to that view as tool, there we go. So we're looking at what everyone can see publicly on my profile, for example. So you go down your timeline. If there's stuff there you don't want, then you can change the settings. And it's the same with all of these others as well. About me, as you can see, I've taken out all of the public data about me because I want Facebook to be a space for friends for me, not a public space. As you can see, not much for me to see, but you can change all of these things. There's some stuff here, groups and that sort of thing, that are publicly viewable, and then in here you can go and see all the specifics as well and change those as you want to. So I'm going to close the view as tool. You just do it by clicking that X there, and then it will leave me kind of on my profile page, but I want to get back to what I was doing. So I'm going back into settings, and what I was doing was looking at my timeline and tagging, and we've done that view as. And then the last one is review tags. People add to your posts before they appear on Facebook. And I think I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna enable that right there. Close that to save. So the next few tabs are fairly basic: blocking, language, notifications, mobile, and you can just check through them fairly quickly, to be honest. Some of you may be interested in the public posts tab here, where you can stop the public being able to reply to comments you make on public posts if you want to. But apps and websites is really interesting and absolutely worth checking out. It's the last tab you'll probably want to spend much time sorting out. So since the Cambridge Analytica scandal broke in March, Facebook have changed their settings here, and you can see if we scroll down here, we removed apps others use. So they've stopped the apps that your contacts use being able to see your data. And I think most of us would agree that that's a good thing, and it will probably make many more of us feel confident about our data privacy on Facebook. But if we go back up to the top of the page here, you'll see the third-party apps which you've given access to your account, and you're not alone if there are loads there that you're surprised by. Lots of people have told me that they're quite shocked about how many are there. So I've got 2 active ones that I use for my work. I've got a good number of expired ones which I have recently kind of looked at and thought I don't really need them connected to my Facebook account. And then I have got loads and loads which I have removed that over the years I had just given access to, and I've looked at and thought, you know what, they don't really need access to my Facebook account. So you know, every time you sign into a totally different website with your Facebook details, well, you're usually agreeing to that website's app connecting to your Facebook profile. And these apps are a key way for your data to be shared with third parties. In the past, the data they could access seems to have been pretty wide. A few years ago, they tightened up a bit, and Facebook have now taken further steps, as we've seen, disabling this apps others use functionality or access here. Some of these apps are going to be ones that you find useful, and some are ones that you'll be thinking, how on earth did that get there? So consider each of them listed and decide whether they need access to your account or not, and remove the ones that don't need to be there. You can click into each of them individually, and you can be quite specific about the information and the access that they have. They always have a kind of default setting which you kind of have to agree to, and usually you don't have very much choice, but you can go back in here and you can change lots of these settings. So managing your pages, publishing a page you manage, access your page and apps insights, etc, etc. So for me, actually, these are useful apps, and I'm going to keep just those two. For the apps that you're keeping, the ones that you use, I recommend thinking about exactly what each one needs in regards to your data, and looking through these different sections and reading some of these little hover over informations to see really exactly what each of these mean, because there's some fine nuance in there. So the other tabs aren't too interesting unless you're doing paid ads for pages, which you'll probably manage through Facebook Ads Manager anyway. And the video one at the bottom is just settings about how you see videos. So you're done. I hope this walkthrough has been useful for you. Do follow our page or group, Your Digital Life, intended to help people feel like empowered web users. Or you can follow me on Twitter @Ro, or find my website at taylorkerrick.co.uk, where you can sign up for my newsletters if you want to, and let me know how you get on with taking control of your Facebook page.